played many games. I've played good games, bad games, games people say are absolutely redemptionless and are absolutely wrong. Even weird games like Kids and Plug and Play. Hell, I've even beat a game that I didn't think I could do a hard run on, but no matter what I play, I always find myself wanting more. Like, I want a new journey where I meet a friend and actually stay with them. Like, a piece of them is always with me in my later work. The only games that have done that in the past was Undertale, and that was long before I started YouTube. That and the person that stuck with me was an inherently evil character that I had an I can fix her mentality. That being Kara from Undertale, for some reason. And you can say that Isabel kinda counts, but that's because she appears in my videos to these days. Also, she's kind of like a side character, and I have to make like a whole new personality, so that way, you know, I added something onto the character, but, you know. But recently, I inherited a Steam Deck from my uncle and started playing T42 and bought the Half-Life Orange Box collection. And as soon as I bought it, a recommendation for the weirdest game I have ever played appeared in my suggested sales section. My Furry Protogen. There's like a summer sale going on, so I decided, hey, I'm gonna look at stuff, and, yeah. So, first on my wish list is I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Really good horror game. Really good, point and click game. And then I got My Furry Protogen, because it sounded ridiculous. I saw this in my, like, recommended, even though I don't even play visual novels. That's weird. Why a visual novel of anything would appear in my recommendations? The only games I had wishlisted were I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream and Counter-Strike Source. What? That can't be why a visual novel was recommended to me. Oh, it's because of my TF2 hours. I've seen a few furries play that game, but, you know, I'm not a furry. I can't be. I have friends who are, I follow people who are, but not me personally. Maybe not. ECW plays YouTube. Hashtag 6405. I'm not like other content creators who... Now you guys kinda know my stance on furries. They do nothing wrong, except the offenders. Oh, hello. Good old children checking out the local airsoft weaponry. Oh, right. Those were Russian taunts. You know, like Ocelot not being gay and kissing Snake as a taunt. Like, big Metal Gear Solid 4 reference here. But, anyways, back to my discovery. I researched on it. It's akin to those games, like, you see in memes, like Sex with Hitler 3D or some crap. I always thought that visual novels were like a way of tax evasion. Like, somebody puts out a visual novel and, like, writes a crappy plot, and, you know, it gets maybe 60 or 70 sales because it's so cheap. But the plot of this is... I'll go into detail, but, you know, it's worth buying. Unless if you're, like, not into... I'll go into detail. I wanted to buy it as soon as possible for my TikTok and to do a review on. As, like, a, you know, goof. But then, as things came up, like Fortnite Festival, Battle Passes, Modern Warfare Zombies, and so on, I couldn't afford it. But recently, I used some of my money to buy it. It was on sale. And now I have the opportunity, so spoiler warning, I will be talking about the entire game, or rather its story, since it's just a digital book with pictures. The only reason you'd want to play it is if you're into visual novels, or like, you know, you want a good story. So if you want to experience this for yourself, click off and buy it. It's only $4. It's really cheap. So without further ado, this is my review on... Oh, what the fudge? Where the hell did you come from? Wait a minute. I'm noticing a pattern here. Every time I do these reviews, I talk about the game, and then the following happens. Either A, a character from said game is present, or B, I turn into that character.
What the fuck are you talking
or
about?
a species from that game. Wait, how do you know that? Wait, who are you? Oh. Oh no. Oh god. So the player's character is a chosen one in a medieval village who is really spoiled. He knows it, and he doesn't want any more. Plus, he's controlled on what information he consumes, so on his 20th birthday, he is given an opportunity to give the town a speech. He says to the town in the speech that fate is just a vessel. You can move and influence it. And he's tired of being a Rapunzel to the town's Disney Pixar. He immediately is held and detained by the town doctors, breaks captivity, and rushes throughout the forest to escape further capture. He passes out and reawakens to find himself in that same forest he ran through. So, without anything else to do, and thinking that returning to the village would mean his death, he follows a river, seeking a place to lay low in, and it turns out it's a dead end. The player character stresses over the fact that he's probably shunned by his village, and reasonably puts his hands over his head. Then, he experiences shaking and thundering. A weird spacecraft had touched down behind him, and guess who's in that ship? Master Chief Isaac Clarke, Senator Armstrong, Sack. Oh, come on, fine, I'll talk about the furry protogen in question. This is Juno. Juno is a protogen, cybernetic, robotic, anthropomorphic, bipedal animals designed for general... Jesus Christ, this sounds like Metal Gear Solid stuff. Juno is a protogen scientist who discovers the galaxy unspecified, for new advancements in different species. She is one of the most unique characters I've seen made for a story. Like, I know protogens are like, you know, out in the public domain, like actual species that you can make any character for. But I mean, think about it. She was a robot war pig turned into a scientist who seeks out new information about planets and other species. Also, may I say this? For only having a few still images in the game with like facial diversity and like stuff like that, she is really expressive. Like, the artistry on her face is like super cool, because like I know, I know you can like change facial expressions slightly and still have the same effect, but you know, it's cool because it's like a changing helmet. It's what I'd expect to see on like a helmet like that. Even the small circle things on the side of her helmet are like expressive, and I love it. I don't know if it's like an autism trait, but I love analyzing details on characters. Because seeing like little details like that makes me want to build off more onto them. Like I want to know how does that work, or what's the significance of that? It's like a personal quirk of mine. I don't know. Here I am nerding over a Protogen. That speaks volumes, like a ton of volumes. So you meet Juno, and she assumes you to be a local guide. And with your character's instant thinking, he chooses to lie to Juno into making her believe such. The player character says that he's a hunter for his village, and he basically knows everything there is to know about this planet. Juno recruits your character to help her discover this planet you inhabit. Some time passes, and she brings you onto her ship, so you can wash and rest, something that she hesitates on letting you do at first during the beginning of the story. Apparently, she likes to watch people bathe, because she sits in front of the door waiting for you to get out with her visor offline. Anyway, Juno and you spend multiple expeditions together without issue, until they make their way to a desert. A giant sandworm ambushes them and they escape. Our character, who assured Juno he knew what he was doing, showed off how incompetent he was. Juno is reasonably annoyed and still in shock from almost dying to a giant Dune Part 2 worm. So Juno pops a big question, and I wanted to know, and that is, why lie? Our character goes on to tell Juno that he was the chosen one in his village and that he wanted to make his own fate, but thought lying to Juno would mean they'd have to go back to the village. And Juno forgives him. Well, not at first. It took more convincing from the player character. Juno then tells us about her old friend, Toshi. The mental image in my mind is a teal Yoshi, and that's what I'll be using as image. They met on a planet that Juno was researching about, and became tightly knit friends. After one expedition, Toshi got trapped and saved Juno. Also, Toshi died. That was the reason she didn't want to involve herself unless absolutely necessary, so she wouldn't experience heartbreak again. I get that. Like, I feel Juno. Not in that way. They continue their expeditions until they encounter a black sickness of some sorts. A black plague that kills everything in its wake. The corruption from Terraria. Wait a minute, I think I solved the lore of this game. It takes place in Starbound/Terraria. Think about it, corruption biome, bipedal and human animals hybrids, cybernetics, all that's missing is Cthulhu. They take back samples of this plague back to the lab. On the jet, I should have mentioned that. And run tests on it. It's a bioweapon. Resident Evil. Turns out the plague is man-made, or artificial made, as the game puts it. Juno has to get this back to her main ship to find a cure for it. So they fly over to her ship. this may sound like a plot hole, but I have to mention those two have built a bond by now, so Juno has enough trust in the human player character to go onto the ship. On the ship, she runs it through multiple tests, and that's where the game gets risque. In a conversation where they opened up to each other, the player confesses their love to Juno. For a second, Juno stares blankly, then starts to blush. I thought after they confessed feelings for each other, not only does Juno love the character back, she has sex with the character? It's not shown, but it's implied. Like, really implied. Thank God, but yeah. Also, I don't know about you, but if I, hypothetically, had a one-night stand with a living toaster, I'd be like this. After your little sesh, it turns out that the plague is evolutionary. It mutates rapidly so it doesn't die out, which is bad for your planet. The tension has risen a whole lot while the player character and her have been playing WWE in bed. So she has to make sure the cure is absolutely capable of destroying the plague. The player character then tells Juno that he's going to confront his village. It's been a long time since he's visited it. Juno agrees with the player character full-heartedly. And I won't spoil the rest of the game. The music is probably stock music, but it fits in at all points. But the backdrops are a bit blurry, but you know, you get an idea of what you're looking at. Like I said, character design and art style is pretty good. Not recognizable, but it's far from bad. And the dialogue is actually pretty good. I only noticed typos and grammar misusage at the end. But that's about it. And I won't spoil the rest of the game. This is an experience best left for those who want to play a visual novel or are furries. One thing is for sure, if a sequel ever comes out... Oh my god, they made a second one. Oh my god, it has an NSFW patch. What the hell? I don't think I'll be able to review that one, or not at least without being age restricted, or it being on a certain orange and black website, or me trying to censor the hell out of that game. Oh, Juno's still here. That's the last of the samples you'll need. I'll probably be seeing you around. Y'all hope to see you around. I really need to explain my own lore. Alright, can we talk now? What is there to talk about? You know damn well what there is to talk about. You go here and you do a review on a furry game, where the last game you decided to review was Sonic Adventure 2, and that hasn't been done in like what? 1 year? 2 years? To be fair, I had a lot of stuff, and honestly, I don't think I can do the Sonic Adventure 2 review. That still doesn't mean you get to make content for furry. Watch it. And watch what you say. This might get taken down because of what you say. Still, like... Wait a minute. Is it because you're a furry? What? No. If I'm a furry ally, if that's anything, but I mean, think about it. The definition of a furry is somebody attracted to anthro characters. You like Axo, you like Meowscles, you like basically any anthro skin in Fortnite. To be fair, Axo is kind of cute. Hell, you see the... You see what's gonna replace me? That raptor skin that's coming into Modern Warfare 3? It's not going to replace you. It's just gonna be alongside you. No. I think you're entering your Chris Chan arc. Please, for the love of God, do not compare me to that man. And another thing. What's the whole deal about being goody-goody with furries? The only time you were goody-goody with furries was on that cruise on VR chat. To be honest, furries are actually way, way nicer than normal people. Oh. In fact, I'm pretty sure furries are the only person who have not damned me to hell because of me being autistic or, you know. Yet 12-year-olds in their little armchairs are like, I'm gonna stop playing Fortnite and I'm gonna, I don't know, hate on somebody for wearing a suit because, you know, I can't skate around the local, you know, skate park. And still, like, I get they're weirdos in costumes, but they're nice weirdos and they don't actually do anything wrong. But, like, you know, I want to become a part of their culture because, honestly, they're one of the most welcome communities ever. And for somebody who has a hard time talking to people after the pandemic, that's a plus for me. Who are you talking to? That was kind of directed towards you and, you know, the rest towards my audience. Ah, damn it. Did I ruin the take? Do we got to roll that again? No, keep it in. I'm just going to have it as like a end message or something. Hey, so you said you wanted to explain more about the lore, right? Like, I don't get my role. What am I? Because I keep going to different universes. I keep... Hold on. Let me explain. So, basically...